I'm going to be making a fabric ghost door hanger today. I'm using 8 pieces of fabric to create this little ghost. So I'm using fabric that is cut at 2.5 inches wide and various lengths. Jelly rolls work perfect for these creations. I'm going to be creating these fabric tubes like I do with my jelly roll rugs. My first fabric strip is going to be 31 inches long. So I'm going to measure that out and cut it at the right length. This is going to be my middle starting tube. So each of these strips are going to be 2.5 inches wide, but they're all going to vary in length. They're going to be increasing in size by 1 inch. Now that I have it cut, I'm going to add batting to it, and then I'm going to leave a little space, about a half inch or an inch up at the top. This is going to allow room to have it not be as firm and stiff with the batting, and if you want to add fringe to the bottom, you can as well. And this is just a design preference and how I wanted to do it. I'm using my Gypsy tube maker here to help fold my fabric and my batting together. Now what I decided to do is I wanted to have like a little bit of a flare at the bottom of my ghost, kind of have it like more wispy on the side. So on the ends of these fabric tubes that I'm creating, I'm going to make it have a little bit of a wide end. See that up there, how it's a little bit wider at the tip? So when I'm folding the fabric up there at the ends, that's what I'm doing, is just not closing it all together. So I get just a little bit of a wedge. And then I'm going to take it over to my machine and I am sewing down the edge. You can sew however you'd like, but this is how I like to do mine. I'm sewing at about a 1/4 inch seam allowance using my magnetic seam guide to help me keep nice straight stitches. I absolutely love my magnetic seam guide. It makes it so much easier to keep these tubes nice and even and together. You don't want them overlapping wonky like. You want them nice and flush together. So I'm using both my tools here to create the little tubes like I do with my fabric rugs, and having it have this nice straight stitch all the way down. So when I get down to the bottom of the tube, what I end up doing too is cutting the batting back about 1/2 inch to an inch like this. And then I'm going to flare out the bottom like this. That's how I'm creating a little bit of a wedge here down at the bottom, a little flare out like that. And I just continue sewing all the way. I'm not sewing all the way to the ends of these. I'm sewing all the way to where the batting stops. So about 1/2 inch or inch, depending on where you stop your batting. That's where I'm stopping my stitches at. And this is what it looks like once it's all sewn up, nice and neat. That's what you're aiming for. So this project just kind of happened. I knew I wanted to do the little coasters, so I was creating that, and then I was talking to my daughter how like, ooh, well, maybe I'll make a ghost placemat and stuff. And then she was like, ooh, that would look really cute as a door hanger. And I was like, ooh, yes, I love the way you think. So she crochets and we play ideas off each other. It's really cute. So you're going to sew up all of the 8 tubes, and it's going to start at 31 inches, then the next one 32, 33, 34, 35, all the way up till you get to the 8th one. Now we're creating like a little rainbow here. We're starting with the smallest one at 31 inches, and all you're doing is folding it in half, and we're going to pin it in place. This part takes a little bit of maneuvering, but it's not too bad. You just got to get the fabric to lay gently next to each other and all ready to sew up. We're going to be using a zigzag stitch. If you're familiar with the jelly roll style rugs, then this is exactly right up your alley. It's the same method. I like using 5 and 2.5 for my settings on my machine for my zigzag stitch. So at that little bend up there, that material, there's a lot of material in there folding it. You want it to lay flat. So you're going to squish that material up right there in the middle. And this is our path to sew. And then we're going to continue on adding them like this. And you're going to want to aim to have those bottom pieces even on each side. Now it's all right if they're not completely even. We're going to go back in and trim as necessary, but this is kind of the look we're looking for. I wanted to have like a long start in the middle and flare up on the like side, giving it more of a like a little wispy looking end to the ghost. Now you can do whichever way you'd want, but this is just how I came up with it, so I thought it was really cute. As you can see, pinning is so much fun for me. They keep popping out and stuff. Oh, goodness. But so you're going to want to pin these. Just fidget with it. You can see I'm taking it apart again. And I got to lay my material down, scrunching it up in there, getting it to lay right. It takes some adjusting. Don't worry, you'll get it. Just kind of play with it. That's what you're looking for here, is everything connecting nice and neat. So here's a close-up so you can really see how that material is up at the top. See how bunched up it is on that? That's how you want it to look, because you want it to lay nice and flat. Now, when you sew the middle, you don't have to have the second row on, but I was just doing it to show you guys. So this is where we're sewing first. We're sewing down the middle of that first strip that we bent in half. So we're going to take our zigzag stitch and we're just connecting those two pieces together. Don't sew over your needles. That's not good. So just be aware. I have so many going on here. So we're going to start the zigzag stitch. We're going to go down and then we're going to back stitch to have nice and secure up in there. That little bend there sometimes is a little hard to get to connect together because there's so much material going on in there. So just make sure that you don't have a hole up there. So continue down your path all the way. Again, I'm using settings 5 and 2.5 on my machine for the zigzag stitch. That's what I like using for mine. You can use different ones if you'd like. So this is all you do is just go all the way down to the end. Then again, once I get down to the end, I'm going to stop where the batting stops. So I'm not going all the way to the end of the fabric. That was just a design choice on my part. Again, these are your creations too, so you guys are totally do what you want to do with these. If you have an idea or you want to like, oh, I don't like that, I want to change it, go ahead and do it. Totally, I want you to. So here's what it looks like down at the bottom. I have my first row all sewn up. You can see I didn't stop all the way to the end. Here's what a close-up looks like. Now I'm ready to start my second row, and I'm going to start with it having like the rainbow upside down and starting on the right. And I'm going to do that with each row. And I'm going to continue and do the same zigzag stitch. You don't want your tubes overlapping. You just want them gently next to each other. We're just connecting them with that zigzag stitch. Now, I'm using white thread. I get that comment a lot, like, why are you using white? It's just a design choice for me. I love seeing the stitches. I think it just looks neat. I put all that work into it. I just like it. It's just personal preference. You don't have to use white. You can use whatever colors you want. It will blend in more with your material. It just depends on what kind of look you're going for, you know? So the same like with your rugs. Coming down to the end here, we have the curved point. You got a lot of fabric going on here. You're just going to take your time. You're going to go real slow if you need to. Leave your needle down and lift your foot up. I haven't been lifting my foot up. I've just been sliding that material around lately. Yes, I have some skip stitches. So I was like, oh man, so I have to change my needle. I absolutely love the Genome Purple needles. They have a ballpoint tip, which is made specifically for the zigzag stitch in thick material. So I kind of just forget to change mine, and just when I start seeing skip stitches, I change them, and then I have no problem. Or I adjust my tension down. Sometimes the different fabrics can cause that too, so just something to look out for. So again, those bends, they're tricky, so just make sure to take your time around it and make sure that fabric is laying nice and scrunched up on the inside around that bend so that you can get a nice flat side. So it looks like this when you're done. See up there? That's what you're aiming for. You can see all that material in there is squished on that bend. So now I'm going to continue adding each row until I have all my rows all done up on here. You can start to see at the bottom it's starting to get that like ghosty little tail. It's all right if they're not completely even down there. Like I said, we can go in and trim it. So each time here when I add a new row, I'm going to pin just so that I make sure that it's even. You don't want to sew this up and then realize like one of the sides are way longer than the other, because that will happen. I've had that happen. So you want to make sure that you pin it, making sure up at the curve up there that you're going to get enough of that fabric in there to have enough room to go around that curve. If you need to, you can go in and iron. I think that helps too. Just kind of just get that fabric to lay nice and flat. And see here, you can see how it's starting to look. They're not all completely even, but that's all right. Don't worry. It's going to all work out in the end, I promise. Here's another look of sewing it up together here as it gets bigger. You don't have to scrunch that material up on the inside bend as much, but it still needs just a little bit, even at this stage here. You can see how there's some slack in there that you really need, because otherwise you're going to end up getting it where it kind of curls up a little and it doesn't want to lay flat, and you do not want that. So just be aware of like how the fabric is moving and how it's all connecting together when you're making these creations. I think it really makes a difference once you get to know how that fabric works with these projects. I've really been having so much fun creating. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to start working on my holiday stash, to have some sales. But gosh, I've just been having so much fun creating that it leaves me no time for anything else. I have a limited supply of like energy. I was diagnosed with POTS last year, and it just causes like extreme fatigue and all these other issues. So a lot of days I just have no energy, but on the days I have energy, I'm like, yes, let's go. And these past couple days, I was like, yes, let's continue. I had a fail a couple weeks ago with my pumpkin design, and I just left me feeling defeated because I didn't have enough energy to keep going with it. So I gave up, and then I started onto the ghost, and I came out really well, and I'm really happy about it. And so now I'm already on to my next ideas. I mean, I want to do pumpkins too, but goodness, it's like Halloween is this weekend, And honestly, I'm already on to Christmas. I mean, it's going to be November. I have to start doing some Christmas things, and I want to try a new Christmas tree skirt design. Oh gosh, I don't know if it's going to be more complicated or less complicated than the traditional round one, but I have ideas, you guys. So I love that you're here for it and you're loving it too. I can't wait to see your guys' designs and what you come up with these too. You can add cute little bows to these and do all sorts of things. So now with the bottom, like you can see how it is, right? It's not completely even. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to trim it as I see needed to kind of align on each side. I'm not very particular. I've learned to kind of embrace the chaos and the messiness sometimes with creating. So like it's not completely even. And I was like, oh man, but honestly, it's all right. I like it. It works out all right. With this, you can just trim it like this, and it adds like a cute little wispy looking bottom for your ghost, or you can go in and add fringe. I added fringe on my coasters, and that turned out really cute. Or you could totally go in and kind of like trim it and make like a scalloped edge and add some binding to it. There's a lot of possibilities to have fun with this, you guys. I find that that's like one of my hardest things when designing things is to tunnel it in and have like that vision come to a point. Like, which am I going to decide on for that? Which one should I go with? And I'm always thinking of you guys too. I want these to be like really like beginner friendly and easy. So I try my best to kind of simplify and don't go over the top where my mind kind of wants to go and I want to do some things. But I kind of tone it down some. So I hope that works out for you guys. Like I said, I want you all to be able to do this. You can add a hook on the back. I created one with some leftover fabric the same way I created these tubes. I'm going to add it on the back. It's about 8 inches long. You can add twine, you can add ribbon, whatever kind of hooks you want to add. I am just using hot glue this time. This is a really light project. I feel like hot glue is just going to hold it and it's going to be fine. But use your judgment and add it how you see fit. Now is time to add the faces. Oh my gosh, I struggled with these faces so much, but I ended up finding some templates here and putting them together. So I have a bunch of different printouts in my PDF tutorial that I have for this that you can use. But basically, you're just going to create a face. Have fun with it. So, oh my gosh, I'm showing you some of my design things. I was like, oh my gosh, what fabric do I use? Do I want to add this ribbon? I was like, no, it looks like a jellyfish. So, like, I'm all over the place when I design. I tried out different like fabrics and stuff, and then I just went back to the black. That's what I liked. So I'm just here tracing out my templates that I use for my little face. I just wanted a cutesy little friendly little face on my ghost. You can totally do whatever you want or just leave it blank, because I almost wanted to leave it blank, but I was like, it totally has to have a face, I guess. It's a ghost. So once I had my face, I used a little bit of glue just to kind of secure that fabric down so it didn't move, because I decided that I wanted to sew them on. Now you can totally use fabric glue if you wanted. I didn't have any. I swore I had some, but I didn't. So I had to stitch them on. I was a little nervous at first because I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know how this is going to look and what kind of stitch should I use, you know, the usual. So I went in and I did the zigzag stitch. So let's see how it turns out. So I went all in, I did the zigzag stitch. I thought it came out cute with this. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I love my stitches. I ended up using settings 3 and 2 for this, and it created a tinier little zigzag stitch. Now it's pretty tricky to get all the sharp corners here because we're doing a big like oval or circle. So I'm taking my time and just pivoting every little bit, leaving my needle down. You can see I'm pivoting my material and just sliding it across. So that way I'm going along my path, and you want that zigzag stitch to connect with your eye shape and onto the material just over on the side of the material, so that it creates a nice looking stitch. And that's what you're going to look for. Just go super slow, taking your time, trying to get those stitches to look nice and even. Now, you don't have to do a zigzag stitch. You could do a straight stitch or a regular stitch, but I just thought, like, I didn't want, like, the eye to fray. I don't know. I worry about that. I don't have, like, a whole ton of experience doing this sort of stuff. So I'm kind of just learning as I go and researching and kind of trying things out, you know? So I wanted a zigzag stitch because I thought it would just be more secure for the edges of my fabric, you know? Oh, adding on the whole face. It was just so cute. Look, it's just coming together so nicely. I absolutely love creating and doing these things. It's so much fun, and it's fun to see the different fabrics and the way they work. I did another one using like the oranges and pinks and blacks, the Halloween print from, I think is it called Hey Pumpkin is the design for the jelly roll? I believe it is. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. And then I had my black fabric, and I was like, oh my goodness, that would be so cute. So I had to do the black fabric and see how that came out. So I will show you at the end too what the difference is between having like a pretty print and all that different, and then just the plain solid. Just to kind of give you a visual. I like having like those options just to see, you know, you might like one more than the other. And yes, I'm still stitching this on. So all of my stuff is in real time. I don't like when I do these tutorials, I don't speed anything up. I want you guys to see how I'm working, how to really get in there and do the stuff. I hope that helps you guys. I feel like it helps me when I'm watching things. I want things up close, you know what I mean? And I want to see real time. I want to get in there. I want to see how everything's working, so that way when I go to my machine, I have more confidence in what I can do. So I hope that helps you guys as well. Now the friendly ghost door hanger is complete. It is so adorable. You can add anything you want to it. You can add little extras, little hat on the top, a bow. I decided to add a bow to mine. There is the fabric with the cute print. Oh, there's my bow. And here's what it looks like on my front door. To give you a look. See, it's so cute. I believe it was 11 by 19-ish. Super cute, super doable, and doesn't take a lot of fabric.